Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. Today we are continuing our exploration of the new 1.21.6 update, which is now actually the 1.21.7 update. They released that as of today for some minor bug fixes and added yet another new music disc, which we will actually try and obtain today. We acquire that from killing a baby zombie on a chicken, aka a chicken jockey. So we may or may not get one of those today. We will just kind of see. But today we are building a dock for our flying ghast friends, our Happy Ghasts. This is going to be right over my head on the other side of the lake, the south side of our lake, and we are going to include 16 docks, one for each color of harness for our Happy Ghasts. We will also spawn in 16 Happy Ghasts as well and leash them to our dock. I've already planned this out in creative mode. We are sticking with a similar palette to what we normally use, our spruce, dark oak, stone bricks, oak, things like that. But before we get to building, we are going to terraform this area just a little bit. We are going to flatten this grass right here and extend the gravel shoreline out by a few more blocks over here on this side and along the western side of the lake as well. I've already kind of laid out how this is going to be, but our gravel is going to cover the grass right here and then all the way to this point, and then here it will level off like it is around the rest of the lake. This will extend back for a few blocks, and then we will have a pretty good area to start building this dock. We do also have a couple of charged creeper holes that we are going to need to patch up as well, but I have plenty of grass with us, so that shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to get to work on that, fill in all of the gravel, and then we can get to work on our Happy Ghast dock. Alright, the terraforming is pretty much complete, and we are ready to start building. However, I did make a discovery while I was doing that terraforming, something that I'm a little surprised we haven't already found in the first 111 episodes. If we head right down here in this cave, almost at the surface of the world is a zombie spawner. There isn't any spectacular loot in here. We do have a few sets of horse armor and a golden apple and a quick charge 3 book, but really nothing too impressive. However, we will probably end up doing something with that zombie spawner later on. Since it is so close to our base, we will be able to turn that into some kind of AFK rotten flesh farm that runs in the background when we are over in this area. Of course, right now it isn't very developed, but that is why we did this terraforming, and I did clear away some of the grass as well. We will start expanding over in this direction here in the future episodes. Well, I guess it really begins right now with our Happy Ghast dock, but in the future we will get a lot more buildings on this side of town. Also, one more note before we get started, you may have noticed that our levels are significantly lower than what they were in the last episode. No, I didn't die since the last episode, fortunately. Instead, I was in our house at our enchantment setup, and I was combining some of our enchantment books, our Power 1 and Efficiency 1, things like that, just combining those books and consolidating our storage a little bit. So that is why our levels have depleted from 61 all the way down to 4. But I will make a trip to the Enderman farm off camera and get those levels back up. But without further ado, let's get started on our Happy Ghast dock. So we are going to, of course, build this elevated since the ghasts are flying creatures, and we are going to have, again, 16 docks for all of them. So we are going to have 10 pillars that support this entire structure. The base of these is made out of stone bricks, and then everything on top of these will be spruce logs. Also, the platforms in the creative test that I built used oak planks, but I think we are going to switch that to spruce. I think it will match a little bit better. The oak is a very much lighter shade than the rest of the build, and I would rather have it be somewhat matching throughout. Around the base of all of our pillars, we are going to have fences to surround these. These are just going to give the structure a bit more depth and detail and make it look like the pillars are a little bit more substantial, since they would be supporting a lot of weight. Obviously, gravity is not a problem for us, I say as we are standing on gravel, but we really aren't limited by physics for this build, but I still want to make it look realistic, so that is why we are going to try our best to make it look like the structure would actually be able to support itself. So all of our pillars will go around the base like this. Actually, we are going to add one more stone brick on top of each of our pillars here before that transitions to our spruce logs. Next, we are going to use a combination of dark oak stairs, slabs, and planks to make an arch pattern between our pillars and really, again, sell that look of the supports. And this build is symmetrical front and back, so we are just going to do the same thing here on this side as well. And now we can get up here and start to place in our planks. So those will extend up by an additional 2 blocks on top of all of our stairs. And then we will have them turned on these sides because we are going to do slabs underneath and then another stair at the top. And when we do that on both sides and one more slab in the middle, we get a very nice arch across the front. Here on this side, we are going to have a stair right there, and then an additional slab that will support the sides of the dock, and then the space here in the middle will be empty, sort of hollow. It will all make sense here once we get the spruce planks, the actual platform, into place. Actually, just to save on our spruce logs, we're just going to extend all of these stone bricks up all the way to the top. These won't actually be seen from the outside, but we have a lot more stone than we do spruce logs. And then we can just again go in, place all of our slabs, and we will get our slabs placed underneath here in just a moment. Real quick, I want to do our arches on the inside that connect these pillars going across. And for those, we just have our blocks extending out like this, a slab right there in the middle, and our upside down stairs underneath just like that. We'll go back and place in those stairs last. Those will be easy to do from the ground, but we will get all of those put in real quick, and then we can build our actual platform itself. It will make the rest of this a lot easier once we get that put into place. And all of our arches are finished. On the inside, we're going to extend those fences going all the way up to that last stair that we have. And we are also going to extend our fences all the way up on each end. There we go. So now our base for our structure is finished. That is what is going to support all of our docks once it is all built, and you can kind of already see that shape where each dock will be. We will have 4 on each side, and we will have 2 layers, so 8 on one layer, 8 on another layer, for a total of 16. So now that that's finished, let's get our actual platform put onto here, which again will make building the rest of this a whole lot easier, because it will give us a place to stand. And really, this is as simple as just filling in on top of all of our base layer. And I realized I'm kind of doing this in a sort of hybrid tutorial style, but it may not be perfectly clear. If you do want a tutorial of this, let me know and I would be more than happy to do that. I wasn't planning on it, but of course I can always do one if enough people would like a tutorial. So all of that floor is filled in, and then on each of these pillars that stick out, these supports that go out, we are extending our planks going out, but then we are extending it out by one more, so it kind of hangs over the edge, just like that. And I do like the spruce wood on this a lot more than the oak wood that I used for the creative test build. It just blends a lot better. The contrast was a little bit too high with the oak. It didn't look terrible, but it definitely wasn't super coherent throughout the build. So now all of our planks are into place. What we are going to do next is outline the entire spruce layer with upside down stairs, and that will give the transition from the base layer up to the platform. It will make it look a little bit nicer. We're also going to build our staircase so that I don't have to pillar up to get up there anymore. We're going to place a torch under where the stairs will be. We are going to fill in this wall right here with our stone bricks. And we did run out, so we'll have to go back to do the rest of those. And then we're just going to fill in the stone or the spruce stairs in between our stone bricks. So there's really nothing to it, and then we're going to do stone brick walls on top of all of those stone bricks. So now we can go around and we're going to do, again, these upside down spruce stairs surrounding the entire build. And when we get these put into place, we will see that we have these nice little 5x4 docks where all of our Happy Ghasts will be. We're going to put fences along these so that we can tether them and they won't fly away. Now, they won't stay in the dock itself, unfortunately, unless we were to put blocks around it and keep them from getting out. But a lot of it is just for the aesthetic of it, not necessarily the function. We could go back and add some kind of fancy redstone door or something like that that opens and closes like a fence gate or something that automatically opens and closes when we want it to. But I am content with just having the ghasts kind of hanging out in the area. They can roam free. Besides, I don't think they would really enjoy it if they were limited to just these tiny docks. However, when we come in for landing, it will make it a lot easier to access them. And that is layer number 1 all finished. So we are going to pretty much do the same thing that we just did, except this time, instead of using stone bricks, we are going to be using our spruce pillars and extending these up to support our next layer. And then we're going to do the same pattern for the arches going across, except this time we're not going to have arches going this way because the docks on this layer are going to be a little bit shorter. In fact, we're just going to have a single stair right here on the edge, and then our spruce planks will still be on top of that stair, but we will then have our spruce stairs outlining that plank right there. So these will be set back by a few blocks from the platform below. That way the ghasts aren't stacked on top of each other, but staggered a little bit. And in my creative build, I only had a staircase on one side, but I think we are going to switch that up for this and have stairs on both sides. That way we can access it from either side and we don't have to run all the way to the opposite end every time we want to climb this. I do need more stone bricks though. Alright, so that staircase is finished, and I've also finished the arches on this layer. And because this layer is so much more narrow than the last, we are going to have an additional row of dark oak slabs that goes across and gives it a little bit more of a supported look. So our spruce planks are only going to be placed on top of all of these dark oak stairs and slabs. They're not going to extend over at all because the rest of it is going to be the spruce stairs, which will be placed here and then turned going in that direction like that. So that is where our second dock will be, again, staggered a little bit. And there we go, so both platforms are finished now. Now the one thing I've yet to design, I didn't do this in the creative build, is a staircase up to the second layer for this. I'm not really sure the best way to approach that. I think, though, we may just do a single wide staircase going up here in the middle, and we might actually do two of them, so something sort of like this, and we could even do an A-frame design and make it look even more supported. So if we did our dark oak stairs going up like this, and then clear room here in the ceiling, and then we will get one more stair like that. Let's do one on this side as well and see how that looks. But I think having these built out of dark oak instead of spruce will actually make it look a little nicer. And the real question is whether we replace that slab with a stair, and I think we do. I think we'll go ahead and do that. We'll do that on this side as well. And now let's see how that looks if we fly away from it and turn around. Yeah, I think that looks pretty neat. Again, I'm thinking we even do one more staircase going down in this direction and give it an A-frame support. That way we can double this as a staircase and a pretty unique design. And the result looks like that. I love the way that looks. I'm tempted to even do it here on the bottom, but I think this is a situation where less is more, so we are just going to leave it at that. Now, I do also want to put a roof on this, and that has also already been designed in the creative test build, and we are going to need a lot more stone brick for that, so I will go grab that and we will get to work on the final part of this build. So in each of the corners, we are going to have a 3-block tall pillar made out of stone brick walls, and we will also have a pillar in the middle of the build as well. On each of the pillars, we will have a stone brick block, and the roof is going to have a little bit of a curve to it. So on the small edge, it's going to be a single block, and then another single block, and then a double set of blocks and a triple set of blocks. And a similar pattern here on the front, although I'm realizing now somehow the alignment is off for this, and I think it's because we started from the middle on that pillar and from the side on this. So I think that should be a pretty standard fix. I didn't notice it before and it was fine, but now I did, and I think that might bother me that isn't lined up. But let's just get the entire roof put on. I think it will actually be okay. It doesn't look that bad in the creative test build. But then we follow that same pattern going back towards the middle on this side, so we sort of have these two identical sections of the roof. Okay, so we have the two sections of the roof framed out. I just want to fly away from that and see how that looks. Honestly, I think it's fine. I know it's offset from that pillar right there, but I really don't think it is that big of a deal. So we are going to fill in the roof with dark oak slabs, and then we are going to also add in one more support pillar here in the very middle. And once we get the roof put on, we can add in our fences and do some lighting, and then the build will be finished. And there we go, all of our roof is now into place. We need to get some lighting in here, and we need to get some fences put up. Now, I'm debating between dark oak fences and spruce fences. I think we will just place down both and see what looks best. The way we're going to do the fences is have them at the end of each of our platforms, just like that. Up top, we are also going to have them extend all the way across, and then we will have them extend back by a few blocks as well. Again, I just want to get an idea of how each of these look. Obviously, if we go with spruce, they will match the spruce planks for the platform. If we go with dark oak, it will match the pillars, and give a bit more contrast. And I think we will go with dark oak because those spruce fences are a little bit difficult to see. So I'm gonna go grab a bunch more of those, get those placed in, add some lanterns, and we will have ourselves a finished build. I will see all of you right back here in just a moment. And the build is finished. We have lanterns illuminating the entirety of the structure, including underneath the bottom of it, and of course on all of the fences as well. So now we are ready to get some of our ghasts into place. Well, just about. I'm realizing one final thing that we need to do, and that is place one more post at each dock so that the ghasts can be tied up. And of course, since this structure is primarily made out of wood and we don't have any other buildings in this area, we are going to get a lightning rod placed on top of here to protect it from lightning strikes. So now it is finished. Let's land on our ghast right here and really take in this build even at nighttime with it all illuminated. And we are actually going to fly our ghast over to our brand new dock. We have a few leads in our shulker box or our ender chest that we can grab out and tie our new ghast friend, well, our old ghast friend, up to the dock. I thought we had leads, we do not. I will go grab some real quick and we will get him tied up to the dock. Alright, so let's fly him over to the dock, and I think we will go for one of the upper spots right over here. So it is as simple as flying our Happy Ghast into place, just like this, and we will go up a little bit. We will turn him around so that he is facing out, and then when we shift and get off, he is right here, centered in our dock perfectly, just like that. Again, obviously, once we get off of the ghast, he will fly out and fly away. If we were to place a block in front of him, that would prevent him from moving at all, and he would stay facing out just like this. We might actually go ahead and do that if we were to place just a single fence gate. Of course, he could still go down, so we would need to place a block underneath, but I think for now that is just fine as it is. But we can see him right there, all happy in his new dock. We are going to have 16 of them, one for each color of harness, and we will probably name all 16 of them as well. But that is where we are going to end today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!